We talked about we we talked about gender equity, and what we can do to kind of bring that to the forefront. We talked about changing stereotypes and educating our communities and each other with various ways of showing that gender shouldn't be a barrier to getting things done, or equality. We talked about women running for office, and a role model speaker series throughout the district that Saren brought up that I thought was excellent. Um, and the Equal Voice campaign through Zonda. We talked about possibly like helping women candidates in some way in a non. We talked about Zonda being political but non um, political but nonpartisan. And Dada brought up that there is a great video to review on that maybe we can show to our clubs to make sure that everybody understands the difference and we can get involved in different actionable ways. Um, we talked a bit about resolution one, and then we kind of got back to how can we bring it to the young kids to really start changing society. We talked about consent, and we're in the middle of talking about like just dress code and equities, which is I think the first step of kids learning that there's a difference when there are dress code and equities in grade school. um, and that was it. We were cut off.
Great job. I didn't do it. It was that time.
It was all automatic, right?
Everything on Zoom, it's fine. It's Zoom has its own mind.
You're going to have more opportunities to share together. We've done a lot of breakout sessions for this morning because we really want you guys to be able to talk and get to know each other and share your ideas. So thank you. Group two.
Okay, so group two is the global citizenship and serving women and girls in the community. So shared what our clubs have done locally in terms of supporting victims of domestic violence, for example, and Concord, they put together, supplies and purses to distribute, and the Chelsea Club had, worked with the town to get a billboard up during the 16 days of activism. So, lots of other ideas for things that could be done on the community level. And the big thing we're talking about is, how to reach out further in the community. Obviously, the billboard's a great idea, but using, working, how to get on TV and radio spots and press releases. Straightforward to do that as a smaller community, but how do you bring it out in a bigger community? And of course, social media too. Using social media more powerfully as well. And that a lot of content we can share. We could align with other organizations and and share and like and all that other good stuff on social media as well. But Mary had a great idea, that find a high school or college student who's interested in turning or volunteering and having them take care of the social media for us. I'm not going to do any ageism here, but people are better equipped to work with the social media than some of us are. So, but that was some of what we talked about. So
there's a lot, and I think this. I just got my 2-minute warning as far as keeping us on time. So there's going to be other ideas that you guys covered that we want to make sure we get and share as we go along. But thanks for all of those, Verna. And group number three. Group
The
number
leadership, we were trying to take advantage of the scholarships on international scholarships to these outstanding young women into future Zonda members. We talked about the multitude of changes in Zonda international sponsored scholarships. And we, the new leader of the YWPA JMK scholarships and I are meeting on Monday to develop a presentation to send to all members, because most Zonta clubs in District 1 earn their money in year 1 and spend it in year 2, so they can decide what money they have to spend. So we may not be able to affect the change in the number of clubs supporting those scholarships in 2023, but we can look forward to building the knowledge for 2024.
Great. Thank you, Catherine. And group number 4.
Go for it, Lynn or Julie. I can just do a real quick rundown. We had talked about we were talking about a little bit about honoring Zonchins, and we talked about actually honoring those that have passed, as well as honoring our 25-year plus Zonchins. And so we just were having ideas about how to do that. There were suggestions about a Women's Day, really using Women's Day to create a celebration of our Zonchins, both those that we've lost, but also those that have done amazing things and have been with our clubs for a long time. We did talk about an honor guard, having an honor guard for Zonchins that pass away, which we hadn't really thought about. Our club actually has a Zonchin that's a funeral director, so we created one on the fly, but it allowed Zonchin to have a role of prestige in that. Another was sponsoring like girls sports teams in honor of members, which was a really great idea. We were thinking, to honor people while they're living too, as well, with the Zonchin logo on the girls sports team t-shirts that parents see every game. It's a great way to kind of keep the brand out there. And then we talked a little bit about the app, which Lynn and I talked about. She was saying, I need a little tutorial on the app. And we said, maybe if we can film the tutorial, then we can give it to other clubs to be able to then present. Everybody take out your phones and let's download the app, and here's how to do it. So we're going to try to do something like that. And then diversity, we just got started on, and we identified just some issues with trying to make sure we're going in different areas and soliciting members and being present in different areas in our communities that we haven't been before, including faith-based organizations, colleges, getting out of our own little networks, and getting more into the community, and then that will naturally occur. And that maybe the new climate change initiative is going to be one that's going to help us do that naturally. So
Wow, a lot of great ideas. And some time to think about and share more. I'm going to, it is 9:38. At 9:45, we will come back and go to the next session that we have planned. And so if you want to go get a coffee or go get rid of your coffee or water or whatever, see you.
So beyond just honoring them at the time, how do we take advantage of the fact that they were members of Zonta and it was important to them, and have our name out in the community doing something that's important to them and that's important to us?
love it.
So
Well, and I was just thinking of, do you guys know where the Basketball Hall of Fame is?
Springfield,
Springfield,
yeah.
Massachusetts.
Right.
And you know what, that big round orange ball? Talk about orange, I mean, yeah, we can go with this in a lot of different ways. It's great.
So Mary and Donna, I wanted to show you something on Zoom as we get going. I don't know if people know about the reactions where you can raise your hand. But if you notice when that happens, that person's square goes over to the far top left. So if 5 people raise their hand, they all appear in the order that they raise their hand, so that you know to call on them. So it switches where they are in the order.
Great. Thank you.
Cute.
So if you want people to have discussions, and this is something you can use in your clubs, If you don't want somebody is always interrupting. There's one or two people who will answer every single question and every single thing, and some people who never get the chance to cut in. If you just tell them you have to raise your hand, then you go in that order, and it's in the order that they raise their hand.
Thank you, Julie. I think that a technology training might be a little a follow-up that we can do with the presidents as you lead your clubs, whether there was talk about the using the app and also using Zoom. And I think as women are doing these professional meetings, it's good to have these skills and learn them. And we're all modeling that. We're all learning. It always is changing. And how do we embrace change? So thank you and welcome back. It's been a great start. And I think we are ready to go into our next session.
So I would like to introduce our two area directors, Catherine Patterson and Sandy Carroll. Want to start us off, ladies?
Hello. Go ahead.
Hello.
Would you like-
Hello, are you there, Sandy?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Would you like to start, Catherine?
Say again, please.
Would you like to begin?
Well, District 1, Area 1 includes, as you can see there, Amherst, Halifax, Bangor, and Concord. And the important things for searching for new leaders, we would talk to some extent in the previous session, taking advantage or making sure we don't lose the opportunity we have in seeking membership from the award winners as potentially new leaders. And that I noticed when I was checking today on the YWPA 2023 application that is now ready, which is extraordinary to have it so soon. But they included there a list of the high schools of winners. And I noticed with pride that Halifax, there are a lot of Halifax high schools listed there for such a small area. I think that there are other resources too that area directors can help members with. Members like Sandy, who's been a leader, shown leadership since the time I've known her. And I've been recycled as area director. This is my third go at it. And I look forward to the day when we will have these extraordinary young women as leaders to take on some of the roles when we increase our membership. What Mary has on the Zonda District 1 website is incredible. The resources she's provided us. And Zonda International too is much improved what it used to be. In terms of what you need as a leader to show things that are, and it's current by going to that one source and not using hard copies that sent out are easily, they're no sooner printed when they can be out, having it virtual on the websites, you can update it immediately and everybody has the same updated versions of things. So I give kudos to Mary Knight as our webmaster on that for those matters. And over to you, Sandy.
Sure. What I would like to do, Mary, I'm going to do a screen share and actually bring up the website. So, and then what we're going to do is we're going to break out in our area directors. You might have seen us flip into it and break and come back. We're going to go into our areas. These are all new areas this year. So it's primarily Massachusetts and then Canada and New Hampshire and Maine. So what we would like to do is to be able to kind of network within our areas as well. But if I could, I'm going to stop Mary share. Yes. And I would like to go to our District 1 website. hopefully everybody has seen this at least once. It's a super easy name to remember, ZontaDistrict1.org. Kudos to also Mary, because you can search it on Google and it pops up first response. And all of her important announcements are here. And there's also a calendar of events. What we're asking all club presidents to do is to keep us in the loop. You can send it to the area directors, meaning Catherine or I, and we will make sure that it gets onto the calendar. But your clubs are sometimes attractive. Your club meetings are important to other Zontians. And so we would love to keep it on the master calendar. And Mary is wonderful about keeping that all up. Also, if you're looking for other club ideas or interesting speakers, it's a great way for you to do that. And then under the resource center, you can see up at the top, District 1, about District 1 has great leadership contact for everybody, but the resource center is probably the most amazing. It's like very simple, but there's a link right here to President's Resources. And as a past president, I use this immensely because sometimes I was like, where the heck was my club manual? You know, trying to find it. And these are all updated links that, again, are all of the resources. Mary also adds here, like, there are times too, she'll add at this meeting if there's a PowerPoint, but things like this, you can always come here. Again, the club video, and there's a direct link to the Zonta International Leadership Access page. So this should be a really great tool in your toolbox going forward. And you can just see if you have any questions, if you need manuals, if you want to, you know, figure out how to market things. They have a ton of resources. So this is, to me, the most phenomenal place to get it. And I will stop sharing, and we'll go back to the big group. And that's all I wanted to cover mostly. And then I figured we could also just have some open discussions about how the district can help the clubs this year and how we best can communicate with you. But really, I think if we can just break out into groups now, if that works. We're gonna do another breakout into our areas. Everybody should go into the right area. So see you all in a few minutes.
Back to that. We're recording now. So for instance, a couple of years ago, our membership chair in our club learned at one of these meetings about spotlighting somebody. So what she would do, we had co-membership chairs that year, and what they would do is when it was their turn to give their report, they'd have a flashlight and they would just go around and around the table and shine one on somebody. And when it's shown on you, you said, oh my God, what are they doing? And then they would say something that you did during that month. And it was pretty amazing, you know, that, oh, somebody noticed that I did that. Or it was pretty amazing to everybody else too, because she did that. Wow, that was pretty good. It doesn't have to be something gigantic, just something small to allow them to be appreciated. Let's see. Okay, from the Zonta Convention. I think I'm being pretty long here. I might be running out of time. Yeah, this one. So from the Zonta Convention, it was presented that we need to get out, we need to invite in, we need to show up, and we need to leave prepared. So what we have to do is get out first. So we have to go places. We can't just sit around at our meetings and hope people find us. We have to get out there in our community. Where do we have to go? We can go to special events. I think most communities now have a national night out. So having a table at National Night Out where hundreds of people are around, they're all different ages, making sure that you have a table. We're going to be inviting Teresa Harris's video in a few minutes, but making sure our table is inviting, make sure you always want to have candy on your table, no matter where you're going, what your audience is. And it can't be the cheap kind. It has to be like, well, depending on the age, the kids like Skittles, women like Dove chocolate. Some people like the dark chocolate. I personally only like the milk chocolate, but make sure you have something out there that really invites people in, and not in a jar that you have to put your hand in, but it's right out there so people can just pick it up without being too conspicuous about it. Put on workshops. Ari talked about education. So go out and give workshops within the community, no matter what it is, whether you are talking about women in the workplace. A college campus is a great place to do that. How do you rise above the rest when you are at the table? Because as Donna said before, if you're not at the table, then if you're not sitting at the table, then you're going to be the dinner. We need to, and make sure that we're very visible during these important parts of Zonta International to bring in the fact that we are part of an international organization. So during the 16 days of activism, we need to get out there. We really need to show our colors. We really need to be able to strut our stuff about domestic violence. March 8th is International Women's Day. Have an event. I've heard of other clubs who've done really intentional things. One of the things that our club has done in the past is to join with another organization that always shows a film at an independent theater that we have in Concord, and we joined with them to show a film. And then we have something called an award that we, Hall of Femme award that we give to some woman in our state who has done something that promotes women. And we usually give her an award at that. Any press that you can get around any of these things is really important. Partnering with other organizations, no matter what that organization is. Women's organizations are really good to partner yourself with, but it doesn't have to be a women's organization. It just has to be for something that is going to promote women, something that's going to empower women, something that is going to make a better world for them. One Zonta club in North America, and I can't remember which one it was, in what district, but they held an event at a hotel, and they just said that it was going to be a workshop that would talk about all of the inequities in our country, in our world, and to raise the whole, raise the consciousness of people as to the inequities that are going on. So getting out and inviting in, we get out to what's going on, and we invite people into what we're doing. We need to show up. We're going to have a presence at every single event that's going on in our community that has anything to do with anything. We'll find a way to make Zonta fit into it. In tabling events, in addition to printed material for them to take on, make sure you have plenty of propaganda there, but also have a clipboard with a sheet of paper on it and invite people to put down their names to get more information about Zonta. And then you can say, our membership chair will be in touch with you very shortly. Make sure your membership chair has a protocol, things that she has already that she can send out. And you might say, well, we only got 2 names. Well, so what? You got 2 names. If you have 5 events every year, you get 10 names. If only half of them come to one meeting, you've got 5 new people coming to your meetings that you can impress them. 5 people that you can impress. Advertise yourself. Advertise yourself for every event that you have, every scholarship that you give, and not just in the usual places, but try places like church bulletins. They usually will print almost anything. Student clubs. Does the place where you work have a newsletter? If they do, ask them to print. Who got a scholarship in your community from the Zonta Club? Social media. We know that we're supposed to be using social media more than we do now. Let's really make a push on that. Make sure that every single document that you have, every single one, shows images and uses words that show our mission and also how inclusive we are. Because nobody is going to want to join a club when nobody looks like them. So make sure that you have images that are inclusive for every race, every religion, everything that you can think of. And then the last one is leave prepared. So wear your Zonta pin to all of these places. Keep Zonta cards in your wallet. Give them out and tell them your membership chair will be in touch with them. Make sure you always know when the next meeting is going to be. Make a little mental note when you leave this meeting, make sure you know when the next meeting is. So if you run into somebody and you go, you know, our next meeting is September 6th. Would you like to come as our guest? Just so you can see what's going on and what we're all about. So make sure you always know that. Now we're going to borrow Teresa Harris's video for just a minute because she's talking about tabling. And, you know, it seems so simple. You bring a table, you set it up, and you wait for people to come to you. No, it's a lot more than that. And I learned that from one of our members who did tabling as part of her job. And I was going to sit down at the table, in the back of the table, for instance. She said, no, you can't sit down. You have to stand up. Because if you sit down and then somebody comes to the table and you stand up, it looks like you're attacking them. So, and she taught me a lot of other things too. But Teresa has a wonderful video that she's going to tell us all. So Mary can start that now.
Thank you, Donna.
hear
While
it?
the movie reel starts, I just want to appreciate, those were a lot of good ideas for us to share. Thank you.
Do we have our video, Mary?
Mark your events during and after. In the before, you want to choose a location. If you get a choice of where your table can be, always choose a table in a high traffic area with good visibility. If people can't see your table from far away, they will be less likely to stop by.
Mary, you have to stop sharing the slides and share the video.
Their office, they may ask you for proof of it. National provides that at no charge. Farmers market is also good.